Do you want to know why we haven't made any arrests here in the United States while our friends across the pond have actually started gathering these demonic pieces of shit? I'll tell ya. First, before we get into it, let's take a few breaths. In your nose. Hold for 3 seconds. Out your mouth. We're going to do that 3 times. Make sure your belly is expanding when you're breathing in your nose. That's important. Okay. I always think it's better to be in that kind of calmer state when we talk about, what's going on in the world. So here's the thing. The systems in the US are not built to handle a massive sex trafficking ring like that. Our judicial system, all of it is broken. It's broken so badly that these type of things are going to slip through the cracks. And I'm not saying this because it's what I want. I'm just simply a hitchhiker on this planet. There's a lot of commentary about this. There's a lot of outrage about this, but let's zoom out. Let's zoom out into the energetic Akashic field for a minute, okay? This is what often helps me to ground myself in what my purpose is here right now. What happens when we continually get bombarded with this kind of information and we don't get to see a result? Humans like completion. Humans like familiar. And this is incredibly uncomfortable for, everyone but the people who are doing it, right? And the people that supported this, they had systems in place to be able to continue going on and living their lives. I don't know specifically every single thing that these people did, but I don't have to know that. It was being supported. Now, the whole thing is, why? Why would they do this? And the thing is, it's usually about control. There's almost like this euphoric feeling when you are supported by a group and you're able to control others. It's the reason why generational things are so popular. Millennials. If I see a post every 5 seconds, this is why millennials are so, this is Gen X, and I'm guilty of it too. I mean, I am. But the same mentality that we give to wanting to be a part of these arbitrary groups that were made up is the same type of, my legs are electrifying. It's the same type of mentality that allows all of these taboo things to take place. It's like groupthink, right? One person is not going to be able to handle this, but a whole group is. So you've got people convincing other people that this is okay, that there's some morality that's not being broken. They believe they are the heroes of their own story. I want you to hear this. Every single human believes they are the hero of their own story. You might be a downtrodden hero that has, had trauma and all that, but you're the protagonist of your life. And the thing is, until you're able to walk alone, and I mean this sincerely, walk alone in your thought process, your belief system, all that you know, this will continue to happen here on Earth. And you can change your mind. I've changed my mind a million times about things that I believe with information that comes in. I will never say never, ever again. So when you're seeing all of this happen, you're like, how could this happen? It happens because of the same mentality of why we want to be included in things, why we want to belong. It's a very potent drug to want to be seen in some way, to want to be, accepted, to be a part of something bigger. And I know this sounds like, well, isn't that what we're supposed to do? This can't be a bad thing. It isn't a bad thing. It's just a really, just like there is no bad or good, there's only the middle. There is no light and dark. Light for me is light and shadow. It's both. Light is just the term. And so if you look at it like that, you're going to have positive aspects of this, and you're also going to have negative aspects. But it doesn't make anything inherently wrong. So you're probably like, great, now what do we do? And that's not my job. You'll have to go listen to someone else. No, I'm just kidding. But really, I'm just one person, right? And I know you're not even like listening to me to be like, she's going to give us all the answers. The thing is, though, you have to question it all. At some point during your day when you're running around, going to get groceries, helping your kids, going to your PTA meetings, whatever it is you've got going on in your life, I want you to take a moment to think about the bigger picture of why you exist on this planet. And think about it and be like, okay, and this is only what I believe. We are energy. Everything is energy. I mean, it's proven by science, so whatever. But my belief is we are energy. And we come here to experience the things that we're able to experience within a human body, a physical body. But that energy is infinite. It's infinite. The things that we experience on Earth are human shit, right? Like emotions and stuff. That's all human. The energy source, there is no good or bad. It just is. If you take, and I know this is controversial, if you take the emotions out of it and you just look at it like energy, it becomes somewhat easier to handle a lot of what is being thrown at us. If you believe, as I believe, that Donald Trump has a soul contract to be an agent of chaos, then you can look at it in this doesn't mean I don't want him 6 feet under, like, but you look at it in a way where it's like he's fulfilling his soul contract, unfortunately. And it's hard because I really love humanity as a whole. And I think that it's really tough to see people struggle and to see people die for the cause and to see all of this. It's incredibly difficult. And I'm not saying that it will ever be easy to be a part of this planet. It's not. Once you see, which we're all seeing now, the facade of how our thought processes, psychology, even humanity was built on these terrible things, you can undo it. You can start thinking differently, believing differently, being kinder. And this is not to say to be fluffy or like fake, because fake is how this happens. You cannot tell me there was not one person who worked for Epstein that was not like, oh, fuck, this is bad, but I'm getting paid. There's all these people supporting it. And it does justify if I blank, blank, blank. I have no clue what they could have said to themselves to justify it. But there was something. There was something that they said, I can go to sleep at night knowing this. I'm not talking about the evil pieces of shit who actually did the things, okay? I'm talking about the people who supported it. The people who reluctantly went to their job and was like, maybe I'm not so good of a person, or maybe this is wrong. You can't tell me there wasn't people like that. There was. Humanity just says that. But when you're in a system that awards you, that confirms you, that sees you, that does all of these things and starts to build a system that justifies all this, it's almost like you're in a trance and you can't get out of it. I mean, think about just slavery. People using other people to do work they didn't want to do, and they treated them like things. Like, if you try to wrap your brain around that mentality, I can't. But there was a system built. There were laws. There's systems that are built to uphold all of this. And I know I'm not saying anything that hasn't already been said, especially by the Black and brown community. They have been screaming this from the rooftops since forever. But in order for us to change our mentality, for us to change our mindset to not falling for this fucking shit, you have to go back to inside of you. You have to go into that place that is scary, because shame lives there. Anger lives there. Fear lives there. But that is what feeds all of this. If you accept who you are and the things that you have done and the things that you believe, you're able to change them. But if you keep going in circles, trying to justify, trying to figure out if you can live with this shame, if I just hide this shame, all of that, it will eat you up and you will buy into the system. There is a reason why women, or people who identify as women, have risen up in the last year. God, has it only been a year? Specifically, it's not like we haven't risen up in other times of the world, but specifically, this whole spiritual awakening, feminine energy, telling men to fuck off when they're shitty people, we're not bowing to them anymore. This is all a part of that. I truly believe women went, when the pandemic happened, instead of complaining and drinking, a lot of women went inside and they said, why am I here? Why am I putting up with this? Because we were able to stop the grind for a minute, work from home, not have shit in our face every second. And when that happened, women specifically were like, we're done. And then when Trump allegedly won the election, and we were all like, no, he didn't. And everybody was like, you're full of shit and it wasn't rigged. And yes, it was. Yes, it was. The system rigged it. He had support, very powerful support. The electoral college and this ballot system is not without flaw. It's not. And so we went inside and we said, who am I? Why do I take this treatment? I don't deserve it. And then you get the male loneliness epidemic, like, excuse me for mocking it, but excuse me. It's not a male loneliness epidemic. It's the women who said, I'm done letting you treat me like shit. And it's the men being whiny shit-ass babies and saying, well, now I'm lonely because I can't tell women what to do and I can't rape them and I can't, too fucking bad, right? Like, we're here. We're not taking it anymore. If you identify as a man, it's your turn. Go inside. I've seen it. There are men who are switching their gears and it's beautiful. And I want to see it. Because when we're talking about men as like a monolith, maybe it isn't you, and that's great. But it is your friend Chad or your friend Mark or whatever their name is. It is them. And you have put up with it. And you have enabled it. So what are you going to do now? Are you going to let the system tell you what to do? Or are you going to take control of your own life? Until next time, peace and love to you all.